Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode from the RambleCraft server. Things have been happening around here since the last episode. Not all of them are good, but let's start with the good. Right, so I was digging a tunnel through the nether just from my base to the spawn portal, just to make it a bit easier so I could fly through, and I happened to find my first ancient debris. So that was definitely a good start. Nothing to complain about there. So after that, we got on with digging out the slime chunk. So what I'm doing here is digging out the full chunk and then 5 blocks either side. So that's 26 blocks by 26 blocks. And obviously there's lava everywhere, so I'll deal with that in a second. And then I ran away for a little bit to see if any slimes would spawn. And lucky enough, we got one of the big boys. So this is definitely working. I can get on with building up this farm. So next, get rid of the lava. Decided to turn it all into obsidian. And I thought it'd come in handy just to have a few stacks, and I think I ended up with about 6 after doing this. So mining obsidian is never fun, so this time lapse is super fast because it took ages. And then we dug out the rest, and then after that I needed to repair my pickaxe, so it was over to the Enderman farm. Got that done pretty quickly, and then I mined out the rest of these blocks, ready to start building the farm. So this slime farm is designed by Nembon, and if you've seen my single player series, you'll have seen me build this before. I love this design. It's nice and cheap, and it can be upgraded as you go. So I've just built the first layer, and then we're using magma blocks for the killing mechanism. And the really clever thing about this, there's no rails underneath. It's just because there's chests in the corner, the items flow straight into the hopper that's between them. Right, so let's have a quick look at this thing. So if you are starting out in a brand new world, this farm is a great one to build because you actually only need 2 magma blocks in each corner, and as you can get magma blocks in the overworld, this is a very good farm to build straight off the bat. So we've got magma blocks pretty much all the way around. All of this smother stone will be replaced with magma blocks eventually, but this is all I've got for the moment. Down here, as you can see, there's a hopper just there in that corner. Now when the slimes die, the water pushes them across, and because we only have chests here, the items can actually get through to this hopper, so you don't need minecarts going underneath, collecting everything. And then that hopper points into a dropper, and that is in all 4 corners, and then the items get spat out into this water stream, and then they just go down here to this chest. For now, I'm sure they will go to a larger storage area eventually, but for now, they're just going into here. I haven't made this farm efficient yet, so it's doing quite well to have this much already. So there's 3 things I can do to make this better. The obvious one is to build more layers, and then I can have more slime spawning and dropping down. The second one is to dig the whole 26 block square right the way up to the surface. That increases the efficiency of all mobs spawning when there's no blocks above them. And then the more difficult one is to light up all the caves around here. So when I'm stood wherever I'm going to be standing, there's nothing that can spawn anywhere around me apart from in this slime farm. So obviously that's quite tricky, but we will get to that eventually. Then after that, I decided to get on with digging a tunnel. So what I'm trying to do here is plan out the main areas for this base. So obviously we've got the iron farm, and then I'm digging this tunnel down to where the slime chunk is. So I'm going to have a tunnel that goes along there, because obviously I'm going to need access to it, and there's probably going to be a storage area over here. And then this is where it started to go wrong. So at the end of that tunnel, just near the slime chunk, I found a huge network of caves, and there's also an abandoned mine shaft as well, and there's tons of mobs down here. And unfortunately, while I was down here, I experienced my first death. I thought I could handle it, but 2 skeletons ganged up on me, the big bullies, and they cornered me, and there was no getting away from it, unfortunately. So that was it. That was my first death on the RambleCraft server. And as you'll see, I also have another 2. And the reason for those is I was trying to get back to get my stuff, and I did not prepare. I was just panicking, and it didn't happen. Didn't get my stuff back. So I lost all of my tools, my sword, my pickaxe, my shovel, my axe, everything. It was all gone. But while I was looking on the replay, I did notice there was a skeleton wearing all of my armor, including my elytra, and it also had an enchanted bow. So I assumed that was mine. So after a little bit of digging around, I did find the perpetrator, and he was definitely wearing all my stuff, and it was a bit of a close call. That was definitely my bow. That was not a standard skeleton bow. So I eventually got him trapped, killed him, and got my stuff back. So at least I didn't lose absolutely everything. I got my elytra and all of my armor, but I didn't have any tools at all, no weapons. But I didn't have to use any of my diamonds because thankfully I have these villagers. So I did a bit of trading, bought a few of everything, and then after I got all that, I went across the Enderman farm, because my jewel spawner was definitely not going to cut it for all the enchanting I needed to do. So I spent a very long time there. I won't lie, it was a very long time, but I managed to get even better gear than I had before. So let's have a quick look at what we've got. Alright, so now, I don't know if you remember what I had before, but I had pretty much this sword, but I only had looting 2 on it. So now I've got looting 3 on there, so this is now my perfect sword. I also managed to upgrade my boots as well. I got feather falling on another pair of boots, and I added it to the ones I already had. And everything else is pretty much the same, but this time I managed to get fortune 3. So I only had fortune 2 on my other pick before. I do need to upgrade that to efficiency 5, but everything else is efficiency 5, silk touch, unbreaking 3, and mending. So yeah, gear even better than it was before. So maybe it was worth dying, but I'm not planning on doing that again. Okay, so let's have a quick look. The only other thing I haven't shown you yet is this little tunnel over here. This one just goes to my spawners. So it's not great when you need loads of levels for enchanting and combining gear, but if I just need to repair my elytra or my tools, then it's good enough for that. Yeah, I will get this all decorated eventually, and that is the plan for today. Not to do this bit, but to do a little bit of decorating in the base, because I really want to get the look of this thing going now, and I'm going to start in this room right here. This is probably going to be the biggest room in the base, so I think it's best to start here, decide how we're going to do things, and then we can start expanding that out into the rest of the base in whatever we build. So let's just have a quick look up here. Right, so this is the tunnel that I dug in that time lapse, and this is my villager breeder. So I did have the plan to keep this around here somewhere, but I don't think exactly where it is going to work. I'm going to have to move that somewhere so I can have this tunnel nice and open. So down at the end of here is where the slime chunk is. So I've dug all of this out. So if we'll just turn on the chunk borders. So this is the slime chunk right here. And I've started to go 5 blocks away from that, just like I have done at the bottom. And then this is going to go right up to the surface as well. So this is just a marker for me, so I know where I can put all the tunnels going around it and maybe put a storage area over here as well. So that is where we're at the minute. I think now I need to start working on getting some resources together. I have mentioned briefly in a previous episode what I'm planning on doing down here. And the main blocks I'm going to need is the grey concrete, cyan terracotta, and I was going to go with white concrete on the walls. But I thought, as I'm going for a fairly high-tech look, it might be fun to use iron blocks. So I'm going to give that a go, see how it looks. Right, there's one more thing I did. Let's have a hop down here. So this is my iron farm killing area. And I've changed this a little bit. What I had before was just these going into 2 chests. When I was crafting the blocks, I had to go to each one separately, craft them into blocks, and then take them to wherever. So now they go into droppers, and then we've got our auto dropper circuit thingamabob, and it spits them all out into these water streams, and they all go over here to an item elevator. Item elevator is just behind there, and then they go up to a little storage area I've got up here. So let's go have a quick look at that. Okay, so all the iron and the poppies come up here. Now, I obviously need to decorate this a little bit more, but this I think is going to be temporary for now. So what we've got 2 rows for iron, and this was just from one overnight AFK thing and a little bit I've been doing today. And then the poppies, well actually this is an overflow, so anything that doesn't get picked up by these first 3 just ends up in this one. So I think I put those in there manually as well, because what we've got here, this first one is for poppies, but instead of just putting them into the chest, it goes into a composter. So I'm actually getting bone meal out of this. So I am going to be using some white concrete somewhere, and I'll be using white glass as well. So having a good supply of bone meal is definitely handy, and because I need grey concrete, I'll be using that as well to mix with the black dye. So that is one of the resources I need to get today. I need to get some black dye. But I'm not going to be building a squid farm today because there's a couple of other things I want to get done. So I really need to get the cyan terracotta. That's the thing I really want to do. I do have the mason villagers and they sell it, but it's a bit expensive. I don't want to be buying those blocks because all of this floor and pretty much every tunnel in the base is going to have cyan terracotta as the floor. So for that, I'm going to need a cactus farm and I'm going to need a flower farm. And I am in a plains biome, so I will get the blue flowers if I build a flower farm around here. And that's another use for that bone meal as well. So that is the plan for this episode. I want to get this whole room decorated. But before I do that, I need to get a couple of farms built. So let's get on with that right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get a cactus farm built, because that is going to be a lot slower than the flower farm. So I'll get that one done first. But the problem is I only have 7 cactus to my name at the moment, and that's not really enough to get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the desert, get some more cactus, and then while I'm there, I need to get some more sand and definitely get some more gravel as well, because there is a gravelly mountains biome just close by. So I'm going to go to that and stock up, and we'll have what we need to craft up this concrete. Okay, so resources have been acquired. Got a little bit of sand, I got this much gravel, and another full shulker box of gravel, so that should definitely do us for now. And I've also got a full stack of cactus, so that should be very helpful in setting up this cactus farm. So I think I'm going to get on with that right now. Okay, so I really wanted to build this cactus farm next to my iron farm, have a similar sort of look, so I can have like the walkways going past it and see what's happening inside. But it's going to take me a while before I can figure out where that needs to go, because I've got a lot of planning to do on the layout of my base. So for now, I've just put it down here at bedrock next to my slime farm. As you can see, there's a furnace at the front, so anything that comes out of this farm is going to go straight into that furnace and get cooked. So I should have a steady supply of green dye coming straight into there. Okay, so that is all done and working. We've got that covered with glass so the cactus doesn't pop out the front. We've just seen another one come off there. It's going straight into this furnace, getting cooked, and into here. So we're doing alright. A stack and a half already, so that's not bad. Right, so the next thing I want to do was get a really quick flower farm set up, because I need to get some blue dye to mix with the green dye so I can get the cyan dye and I can use that to dye the terracotta. I'm not going to do a crazy farm. I was coming up with loads of really crazy ideas, like the auto collection and then sorting out the flowers and composting the ones I didn't want to get more bone meal and doing all of that, which I will do eventually, because again, like this one, it will be going upstairs with like a viewing area. But for now, I'm just going to do something really simple. It couldn't be any simpler actually. I'm just going to put some grass down, pistons either side of it, and then a clock attached, and that is going to be it. And then there's going to be a little bone meal dispenser on the side, and that's it. So what should we do? We're going 5 wide, and we'll go here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do actually. Don't want any more than that. So I'm just going to put some pistons up against it on one side. 4, 5, and then on this side we'll leave a 1 gap, because this is going to get pushed across, and then these ones will push it back. And then we need some blocks on the back, so obviously you have to use iron for all redstone. That's required. No, not there. Then I'm going to run redstone line across the top of this. And then somewhere on the middle we'll put a little observer clock, and we'll make that toggleable as well. But let's just do this for now. Right, so I'm just going to put a clock in the middle here, and again, this is really simple, but if you've seen my single player series, I have done a crazy flower farm that does all the stuff that I've mentioned. So if you wanna check that out, please feel free. But I will be doing it again in this series. It's just not yet. So I'm going to set one of them to 1 tick and the other one to 3, and hopefully this works on the server, because I've never done it on the server before. Let's do that. There we go. That's perfect. Right. Need to be able to move this as well. So we'll break that for now, but we'll put that on a sticky piston in a sec. And then the other thing, I ain't got enough room here, have I? Right, let's just dig out a little bit of room here. All we need to do now is just put a dispenser on the back of here with some bone meal in it, and we'll have an instant flower farm. It really is that simple. So, I want an observer like that. Put a dispenser there. Pull up, no, not bones. Want bone meal. Put that in there. And then we want a couple of blocks on the back with redstone on the top, and then once this starts moving, this observer will pulse a signal into there, and that will activate that dispenser. Okay, so if we just put another observer here, that should start working. There we go. So we'll put some glass around so it doesn't fly everywhere, but that is basically it. So all I'm going to do is leave this running for a bit, collect the blue flowers, and I'll set up an auto composter somewhere and just dump everything that I don't want. So there we go, we've got the blue flowers already. And flower farms really are that simple, thanks to the observer. Okay, so I'm just going to get this finished off, and I'll be right back. Alright, so that is now finished. It's not the prettiest looking thing in the world, but it definitely works. So I've got a sticky piston here just next to this observer. So if I click this lever on, it turns the whole thing on. So this gets pushed across, clock activates, and the farm does its thing. So all I'm doing is just letting it run for a little bit, collecting everything, and just manually sorting it. It's not ideal, but it'll get me what I need for now. And as long as I get enough blue flowers, I'll be happy. So let's go have a look at this. And I put glass all the way around the edge as well, so the flowers don't pop off everywhere. It does have to be glass as well, because if this grass gets pushed under a solid block, it can actually turn into dirt. So definitely make sure that it's glass. And if we just collect all of this, I've got a chest here to keep my blue flowers in. Look at that. Nearly got a stack already. And then everything else goes into here and gets turned back into bone meal, which then I can just, again, put into the dispenser if I can reach it. And it's as simple as that. So, getting there with this. I'll do this for a bit longer. Get a couple of stacks of blue flowers, and then we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so I've managed to get myself over 2 stacks of the blue flowers, so that is absolutely perfect. And while that's been happening, the Cactus Farm is now exactly up to 2 stacks, so that is absolutely brilliant. So that's plenty of cyan dye, and that should have my floor covered for the area I want to do for dyeing the cyan terracotta. And obviously I've got more than enough iron blocks for the walls, so the last thing is Degrade Concrete. So for that, I need to get some grey dye, and that is just a mix of the white, which is fine, I've got tons of bone meal, and the black, which there's 2 ways of doing that. Both of them really tedious. One, you could do with the roses, I'm not doing that, or you can kill squid. So that's a bit of a pain, and I'm definitely not going to be setting up a farm for that now. I'm just going to go into the ocean with my Lucine 3 sword and try and get a couple of stacks of ink sacks. 2 stacks should be more than enough, so I'm going to go get on with that now, and we'll craft up some concrete. Okay, so after a very, very long time, I did manage to get 2 stacks of ink sacks. So let's go ahead and craft this up into what we need. So I'll turn that into black dye, bone meal into the white dye, and then we can get, finally, our grey dye. I do have one more tedious task to do, and that is turning all of this from concrete powder into concrete. So that's going to be a lot of fun, but I won't make you sit through that, don't worry. So we'll just put some of this in here, and I've also smelted some glass as well, because I'm going to need a ton of glass to fill in the area around the iron farm. And I've got a little bit more bone meal, because I think I'm going to use the white glass, but I haven't actually decided on that yet. So, right, that's the concrete done. I've got the iron blocks, so I just need to go get the terracotta now, and we can get started on this thing. Okay, so same again. We'll do the blue dye, and then we can craft up all of our cyan dye. And now, I've got the cyan terracotta, and I've got a load more in this shulker box. We'll do as much as we can of this. Right, so that's all that done. And then finally, I just need to turn all of this concrete powder into concrete. I'm definitely going to need to build a blast chamber for this eventually, but for now, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so we managed to get all that done, and that didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it was going to. So we've got a full shulker box of grey concrete, which I hope will be enough to get all of this done. So I think now we've got all the prep done. It's time to tidy this area up. So let's jump into a time lapse and get this thing built. Okay, so I've got this all done now, and that is looking pretty fancy to me. Definitely better than that big stone cave we had before. And after the time lapse, did a few more little bits. I got all of the glass in all the way around, and I've started playing around the lighting as well. So I've got the sea lanterns. In the floor, covered with the iron trapdoors, and it looks pretty good. But I think the lighting is the thing that I really need to fix in here. There's a lot of dark patches on that ceiling, so I may put some sea lanterns up there, or I may try and do something with end rods as well. Don't know yet, but that is definitely something I'm going to have to do. But I do think this is a good start anyway. Very pleased with how this has gone. Right, so the other thing I did after the time lapse, I started working on this tunnel. So we've got this same design we've got down there. Torches at the moment, because I need to get some more sea lanterns. But then we've got another viewing area up here, and this is going to be like the main walkway that goes through the base, and then we can see down into everything that's going on, just the iron farm at the minute. This goes down here to where my slime chunk is. So this here is the edge of where the farm will be. So we've got, let's turn on the chunk borders. So this is the slime chunk, and then we've got, this will be the killing area, and then I'm going to have a walkway going around here somewhere. So then we can look down into the farm, because I think we're at Y56 here, so the last layer is going to be at like 32, so we're going to have to look down to see anything going on, but I could actually have glass going over the top of it. That might be pretty good. But anyway, we will get to that another time, because I think for now, that is actually going to have to do it. So we made a lot of good progress today, very pleased with how this has gone. So we've got the slime farm, cactus farm, and the flower farm, and we've got the iron farm decorated, so very, very good progress today. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching everyone, bye bye.